All right, welcome to Lockdown Sports. It's the preseason in football. No one cares except Param and a few select. But we're here at Lockdown Sports to talk about it. We had Man United versus Arsenal over the weekend and 2-0. And for some reason, there was also penalties.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty much a comedy show, Param, right? Preseason is a comedy show.
Look. Once you realize the Americans control global sport, you have to sort of buy into these sort of gimmicks that they're going to add to it, right? But yeah, glorified training session is the way I've been putting it for the past few years. I'd love to tell you about tactics and everything that's new, and there are a lot of exciting things which we'll get into with the new signings that have been made. But a lot of it is just the players getting their conditioning, and a lot of it is just marketing. These American fans, I know a couple on Twitter, and it's the first time they've seen United in a few years now. Same thing we experienced last year. These chances, you only get them once in a life. So we'll take it. We'll take what we can get as
But
overseas fans.
Are we going to read into the scoreline?
In terms of the results, like 10 Hag before the game said there's no such thing as a friendly when it comes to Man United, the Arsenal. And Arteta's talking after the game, 2-0 loss, and it's like, I want these players to essentially experience losing and feel the pain. And I'm like, a nice sunny day in New York doesn't really give me that vibe, man. Like, life goes on. I've seen this preseason, Declan Rice train with Bruno Fernandes and Rafael Leao and the Portuguese boys. I've seen Phil Foden and Marcus Rashford training last week before. We're getting to that NBA environment of where everyone is buddy-buddy. And whether you like it or hate it, that's the way it's trending, right? So trying to just say that in a press conference that I want them to experience the pain of losing and stuff, it's a bit performative to me.
Yeah, yes. It definitely is. But yeah, I don't know whether to read into it too much. Obviously, there was a lot of long balls that were never top for Arsenal that were pretty much the way Man United scored. But just with the plays, at least, I think that's something we can look at a little bit, just seeing how they're going. And we had Arsenal's new signings. We'll start with Arsenal and then go into Man United. Thoughts on Arsenal's new signings?
Look, Declan Rice, I wanted him, you wanted him, everyone and their mother wanted him.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've simultaneously solved and destroyed everything that they can do with Rice and Havertz. And give me a second, because Declan Rice last year, he's able to show at West Ham everything. He has to do a little bit of everything. He has to lead the attack, he has to lead the defense, and he has to be there in transition. And that sort of a role is not what you're going to see at Arsenal. Now you're going to see him sitting deepest because Havertz is there next to him with Odegaard. He's the main defender, and that's all you're going to see. He might be great at it, but that's all you're going to see from him. You're not going to see as much of him in terms of offensive production, which I think he can be useful for. And that's why I thought he was going to take that Xhaka role. Xhaka's left, and that left-sided role with a lot more freedom. And freedom is something that, as a Paul Pogba fan, I want my midfielders to have. I want them to not sit in this pivot and just sit back. I want them to have freedom to move around and create. But when you sign Havertz, it was for 65 million, sorry. Do you think that's a good signing?
I was actually going to just bring that up. I was going to be like, we talk about all these signings and stuff, but at what point are we talking about, are these signings worth the money? I feel like that's always with inflation and stuff, it's always a bit iffy to consider it. But I think that's a valuable question to ask. Are they worth this money?
Honestly, fuck the inflation. In no economy am I paying 65 million pounds, euros, whatever you want to say. I know Optus Sport loves doubling the number and reporting in AUD. But whatever it was, I'm not doing that. After 3 seasons of watching that guy fail at Chelsea, one Champions League final goal aside, fail at Chelsea, you pay 65 million. For me, he's more in the Timo Werner category of, look, you're not cut out for this league. Maybe Maybe somewhere else you'll figure it out, but not here. And 65 million, big question marks on Arteta. And I want to see scrutiny. I want to see scrutiny. I don't think there was enough towards the end, because of how good City were that they choked. I want to see the scrutiny now that they've had all this money. How will he shape up? Because Havertz paying 65 million for him, that means you really wanted him. Okay. You really, really wanted him. And, let's see how the story unfolds.
Yeah. And we'll look at the United side of things as well. We have Mason Mount in, and that's it was a bit of an off-season drama that went for a while whether we're going to get him, whether we were going to pay the price. He's finally here. What's your thoughts?
Look, I've been really high on Mason Mount since his debut for Chelsea, as well as, hearing about him back when he was under Lampard and what he was doing in the Championship.
Yeah.
The way he plays is something that I like to see in football, and it's because I grew up watching Man United. It's direct. He gets the ball, he turns, he looks to create at every opportunity, and it's the exact same reason why United fans love Bruno. Creation is everything. There's no wasted movements, there's no wasted motions. They want to create as efficiently as they can, as often as they can, and it's so direct at times. And it's a worry for me having Bruno and Mount because sometimes we're going to press. Bruno, he loses the ball. He's headless chicken for a few seconds. You're going to see a lot more of that from a lot more guys in this United team if Ten Hag doesn't control the personality.
Yeah, and to be honest, also the creating part is going to be interesting about how both Bruno and Mason Mount are going to kind of fit in at the midfield area. We are definitely very attack heavy as well now. Obviously, we usually play in the front three, and then I guess Bruno and Mason Mount would be behind them. But it's going to be an interesting look with Bruno and Mason Mount as well, for sure. And I know Bruno's got the armband as well.
The one thing that gives me a bit more hope with Bruno is, as you mentioned, the captaincy. It's the maturity he's shown. Now that he has been defined as the talisman. There was a little bit of a question mark with Ronaldo, with Pogba, with all these other guys in the dressing room. But now, out of all the times, it's clear this is our guy. We're going to do whatever we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that maturity has translated to his passing game and his ball retention game. So often we see Bruno play reckless balls, and that still happens, but to a much lesser extent.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Bruno has, and that's one of the reasons I really loved Bruno when he first came in, is he's embraced the idea that he's at Man United. This is his club. He wants to make this team better. And I think it's probably a great idea giving him the armband as well. And like you just said, the maturity is going to hopefully help things to, resolve and no off-field issues and things like that. But it's going to be pretty exciting, and I guess we'll see where the season goes with both these teams. Obviously, Arsenal coming off high expectations, but Man United also have quite high expectations as well. So anyway, I think we'll wrap up there. Stay locked in, and we'll see you soon with another video.